What is the truth behind the sacrifice of the red calf of Israel? Will this event pave the way for strange incidents in 2024? Is the coming of the Savior near? Stay with us until the end of the video to answer these questions. But Solomon's temple was located on Moriah Hill. This is the same hill on which the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock are located. The construction of the temple was done by Solomon. In fact, David started the construction of the temple, but before the building of the mosque was finished, David died and ordered the completion of the building to Suleiman. But in the Qur'an, the construction of the temple was done not only by humans, but also by the jinn that Suleiman ruled over became. And in some Islamic traditions, it is said that when Hazrat Suleiman comes to power, he collects all the instruments of witchcraft and exorcism of the people and buries them under her throne inside the Suleiman temple. But with the passage of time and with the destruction of Solomon's temple and the construction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque on Mount Moriah, the Muslims took over Jerusalem so that the Jews could not take it back to this day. And they try hard to reach this goal, and it is not possible to give up this goal, easily take away. But if you want to know what is the main reason for the Israeli Jews to conquer Jerusalem, or what is the main reason for sacrificing the red cow, stay with us. At the end of this video, this main goal will be clear. According to some historical evidence, Pope Urban II in the 11th century formed a clerical council and decided to wage a great war to gain access to Jerusalem. In this war, a large army of crusaders were present. A part of the military was made up of great knights, known as Temple Knights. When this group arrived in Jerusalem, and after about 5 weeks of siege, they entered the city and created brutal scenes of massacre of Muslims. According to the Crusade historian Raymond Aguili, a bloody and brutal war took place in which many people were killed, so that mounds of heads, hands, and feet of Muslims could be seen in the city. And in the Temple of Suleiman, there was blood up to the horses' bridles. After this great massacre, Jerusalem became the capital of the Crusaders, and they declared the territory of Palestine to Antioch as their territory. And the Knights of the Temple entered Solomon's temple to protect this territory. The Knights of the Temple became known as Knights of the Temple because they were busy serving the visitors of Jerusalem in Solomon's temple. Later, the Pope and the kings sent money to these Knights of the Temple and supported them because they had conquered the land of Christ, where Christ was born and grew up, and saved them from the unclean Muslims. But gradually and finally, when Salah al-Din Ayyubi, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, came to power, the Christian knights were defeated by the Muslims, and after this disgraceful defeat, the King of France at that time, Philip le Bel, ordered the execution of Jacques Dumont, the leader of the Knights Templar. And what is more interesting here is that this execution was on the pretext of eating the ashes of the dead, having sex with demons, and summoning a genie. On the other hand, he hanged or burned the rest of the defeated Knights of the Temple. The fugitive leaders of the remaining knights fled to Scotland, and because the King of Scotland was hostile to the Pope, he gave shelter to these fugitive leaders. From the 13th and 14th centuries AD until today, all those remaining knights are still trying to formalize the rule over humans and jinn through the construction of Suleiman's temple and its restoration, and to obtain the methods of sorcery hidden under Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is a photo of Al-Aqsa Mosque, and this one is a photo of the Dome of the Rock Mosque. The Jews want to demolish Al-Aqsa Mosque to build Solomon's temple on it because it is the previous site of Solomon's temple. They always show this photo, that is the photo of the Dome of the Rock, instead of Al-Aqsa Mosque, to actually show others that this mosque is still intact and not destroyed. It is interesting to know that filming and taking pictures of Aqsa Mosque is strictly prohibited. According to this photo, large holes and canals were dug under Al-Aqsa Mosque so that the mosque would collapse and be destroyed with a small explosion and a 3-magnitude earthquake. The illegal excavations of the Zionist regime reached such an extent that holes were created around the Al-Aqsa compound, which definitely affected the strength of its foundation. But after the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and in order to build the Temple of Solomon on this mosque, a red-haired calf with all its hair must be slaughtered. But such a calf has never been born. For this reason, they produced this calf in America and at the University of Mississippi using stem cells. And because the rabbis said that this calf should be produced in Israel, they transferred the technology from America to Israel. The condition that this calf must have is that this calf must not have become a mother, must be red-haired, and up to 3 white or black hairs should not have. It is not yoked. And the time of sacrifice should be exactly 2 years and 1 month. But let's find out what is the main and vital reason for the Jews to slaughter the red calf, and actually the reason for the destruction of Al-Aqsa Mosque, and finally the reason for the massacre of Arabs in Gaza. Interestingly, on October 30th, 2023, an account assigned to the Mossad tweeted meaningfully, "The red-haired calf is ready by Passover 2024. The next stage will be the third temple. Finally, the Jewish Messiah will appear." The Zionists, according to their religious texts, which originate from the Torah and the Old Testament, say that it was prophesied for the nation of Israel at the end of time that this red-haired calf should be sacrificed and burned in the fire before the construction of the third Temple of Solomon, or the Holy Temple, or the Temple of Jerusalem. His ashes should be poured into the water, and their high priest and the people who were in contact with this calf should bathe and enter the temple. And until the temple is built, the Jews are impure. And after this temple is built, and by sacrificing this calf, the Jews of the world will be cleansed of impurity. In fact, sacrificing this calf is the key to getting rid of the impurity of the Jews, and the key to entering Solomon's temple. But the main reason for the construction of the third temple, and the sacrifice of the red-haired cow, according to the Jews, is the appearance of the Jewish Messiah. That is, the condition for the appearance of the Jewish Messiah is that the third temple is built and the sacrifice must be made in a clean place, so that if a non-Jew is there, that place becomes impure. But who is this Jewish Savior? According to the Jews themselves, are they related to the Jewish Messiah? And when will it appear? Dear friends, please answer these questions in the comments. Also, what is the connection between the killing of the Arabs of Gaza and the appearance of the Jewish Messiah from the point of view of the Jews?